all, this is May and welcome back to my channel for a brand new speed build. So today I am making a retro home in Oasis Springs for an elderly mom and a young adult daughter, along with her two golden retrievers, and this is for my save file. As always, I do have a playlist up on my channel with all the builds I've done so far, so if you haven't checked it out, make sure to do so after this video. I'm back again in this retro-inspired neighborhood for my save file, and this is going to be the last build I'm doing for this area. And Oasis Springs in itself is looking quite finished at this moment. I just have one more community lot left, and it will be done, which I'm pretty excited about. So there is going to be a nice mix of Mediterranean-inspired or mission-inspired homes, some adobe houses, retro houses, and just a few modern builds. And I've been enjoying working on Oasis Springs the most, to be honest, simply because of all the different architecture styles I've been working on, and I've gotten to realize how much I love this neighborhood. So out of all the three base game worlds, Oasis Springs is definitely my favorite, and I didn't think I would end up enjoying it as much as I've done at the start of my save file project, but I've kind of surprised myself, I guess. I have built a variety of styles that I've kind of struggled with doing prior to this, and they have turned out better than expected, at least in my opinion. And by the way, before I continue talking about the build, I just wanted to mention that there's currently a summer sale going on in the EA app, which ends July 10th. So if you're thinking of getting any Sims 4 packs at a discounted price, I do have a creator code thanks to the EA Creator Network. Promo code HoneyMay can be added at checkout, and using it will financially support me as it gives me a commission of the purchase at no extra cost for you, and it also works for pre-ordering the new Enchanted by Nature pack if you're planning on getting that. So thank you if you do end up using my code. I really appreciate it, as anything I earn from the promo code goes towards my rent and my bills. So yeah, I just wanted to quickly mention that before I go on talking about the build. So I think the shape of today's build came together rather smoothly. As I was watching back the footage of me doing this, at least I didn't hesitate a lot, I noticed, so that's always good. And I love it when I don't have to do a lot of cutting, as it takes less time to edit. It did surprise me though, seeing as this lot, in my opinion, can be a bit tricky to work with. It's rather big, and it's always sort of annoyed me that the half left side of the lot isn't connected to the road, but the road is kind of like curved. But I think I came up with a nice layout regardless, as I'll be making a yard on the side there with a pool, some couches, loungers, and an outdoors grill and bar area, I do believe it is. So this is a retro inspired build, and I found this one inspiration picture on Pinterest. That's where I usually get all my inspiration photos from. And in that picture, if I remember correctly, the house had a similar front, so with like a garage looking part on the right hand side, like downstairs, and then there was a staircase kind of like hidden behind a wall going up to the second floor where the front door was. And I thought that was a fun idea, because I feel like you don't see front doors on second floors that often, and it makes the build stand out more. So there will also be a porch area with an overhang, and I don't think I put anything special on the porch part at the front of the house. There will actually be 3 porches for this house, and they will have different plans, outdoors couches for relaxing, maybe reading a book or chatting with friends and family. There will be a lounger on the right hand side porch. Like I said earlier, there will be loungers down by the pool too. So yeah, there's like a lot of different outdoors areas for your Sims to use in this house. And going back to the whole front door on the second floor idea, I've done a similar thing to the neighboring house here, where Zoe Patel is going to live with her newborn daughter, and one of her like friends is crashing there for the time being as well. I do have a speed build up on my channel of that too, if you want to check it out and learn more about Zoe's storyline. I probably posted that a couple of months back at this time. I feel like time really flies. At least this year has gone by so quickly, it's kind of just hard to wrap my head around the fact that we're over halfway through the year already. It is summertime, at least here where I'm in the northern hemisphere, and we're getting closer to fall and winter already. because I don't know, it feels like we just had winter and Christmas and all that. So now that it is summer and there's like warmer weather, I'm trying my best to be outdoors more, and that might affect my content to a small degree. Like, I'm not spending as much time playing The Sims and editing like I've done previously this year, but it's kind of refreshing, you know. It's so important to take breaks from content creation, and for those of you who also do a similar thing like content creation, you know. So yeah, just do something else and recharge is very important, because also I feel like I've been feeling a bit burnt out with building and working on the save file, which really sucks, especially when a new Sims 4 pack is right around the corner as well, and I feel kind of obliged to make content with it. But hopefully I'll be able to make something with it when that time comes, and it's still 2 weeks away until then by the time of me making the speed build, or the voiceover I mean. And yeah, I'm also spending more time these days looking for jobs, because it's already been half a year since I lost my job, and I feel like this suddenly turned into an update voiceover on my life, I guess. But yeah, I don't feel like I talk too much about my life that much in my voiceovers, so hopefully you don't mind, just a little yap session for this build. But yeah, it would be really nice if I was able to find a full-time job soon. I'm also quite the introverted person, and it just seems tough to find anything that fits me as a person. Like, please let me just have a job where I can work in peace with minimal contact with people. I'm crossing my fingers that there's someone out there who will hire me, and a lot of people are going to be having their summer vacations now in July as well, so I assume not as many jobs, like job positions, are going to be posted online, but the grind keeps going, and you know, I'll be looking into directly contacting different companies soon, like getting in touch with them to see if they have any jobs for me. So again, crossing my fingers is like a tedious process, and when you keep getting like rejections and stuff like that, it's kind of demotivating. But yeah, you just have to keep going, and if any of you are in a similar position, I am cheering for you. I hope you will find something soon too, even if it can be tough. So yes. And I guess I just wanted to mention that because I did talk about this briefly like half a year ago when all this happened, and I haven't really talked that much about it since. So just a little update there. And yeah, how about I go back to the build and talk about the household that's going to be living here. So as I mentioned earlier, we do have an elderly mom and a young adult daughter living together with their 2 golden retriever dogs. So the mom of the house is Dolly Hansen, who is still working in the teaching career as a dean of admissions. So this is the administrator branch of that job, and she might have thought about retiring soon, but I would imagine her to be very like into her work. She's in need of that social aspect of it, especially because she is definitely very social. She has the leader of the pack aspiration, which came with the get together expansion pack and with the club system feature, where you can create like social clubs, manage it, and have get-togethers for like, I don't know, different things basically. So Dolly is the club leader of the Royal Flush Ladies Club, where she and her other elderly lady friends come together at Dolly's house, and they play cards, they gossip, and have some drinks together. Because I really wanted Dolly to be that kind of bright and social grandma that loves warm weather, swimming, playing cards, just having a good time as an elder, and maybe like going on vacations. And she was actually inspired by, I think it was like an Oasis Springs house that Sim Lizzie made many years ago, but for some reason I still remember it so well, and it was like a house for a grandma who also liked playing cards together with her friends, among other things. So that's kind of where I got the inspiration for Dolly. And I would imagine Dolly to also have been good at bowling when she was younger. She still is actually. So I have just snuck in a couple of bowling trophies in the living room as like a little hint towards that. And she also used to be married to John Reynolds, another original Sim I have made for my save file. And I have talked about him and other family members in other speed builds before, but I will just quickly mention them again, of course, so you're somehow able to get the big picture. So Dolly's ex-husband John is now in a new relationship with a man this time, and Dolly and both John and his new partner, they are all on good terms. So that's another thing that I really love about Dolly and their family, is that there's not really a lot of drama. They're just very understanding and happy for one another. So they would still like celebrate birthday parties and holidays together because they get along and there's no bad blood whatsoever. Dolly and John have 2 daughters together, Deborah and Jody. So Deborah is living with her husband and their 2 kids in Newcrest, who, like, I have also made a speed build for their house a while back. Meanwhile, Jody is the one living with her mom in today's build. So Jody Reynolds is a young adult. She is a teacher just like her mom, and I think she is like level 3 in the teaching career, so she's just starting out, but she is like a very generous person. She loves spending time with people and neighbors, getting to know them. She would be like the neighbor who would greet you on the street and stop for a little chat. And I thought, since Bob Pancakes, who's now divorced from Eliza and working as an actor, he is living just down the street from here. And I thought maybe Jody and Bob get along, you know? So I've just quickly made it so that they are friends and they have a very small romance percentage so far. So that could be something if you'd like to play into that storyline. Otherwise, feel free to do whatever you want to once the save file is out, of course, but that was like my idea. And then we have the 2 dogs who I named after my friend's golden retrievers, actually. So they are called Ember and Barney, and they technically belong to Jody. She is a big fan of dogs and pets in general, so she too has a social club specifically meant for Sims with cats and dogs. Maybe more so of like for Sims with dogs, since it could be a club where you come together to train your dogs for competitions and stuff like that. But overall, it's just like a very social club for the pets as well. There is also a vet clinic in Willow Creek that I've made, so I thought maybe the hangout spot could be there because there is a fenced-in backyard with like different training items for dogs. Another thing that I want to make in the future is a pet cafe, like in one of the other worlds, maybe Brindleton Bay actually. But at the same time, I have so many things I want to include in Brindleton Bay, and that is going to be one of the next worlds I'm going to be working on for the save file. And I'm just really excited to get started on that world, to be honest. I really do love a good old coastal town with like a pier, the small islands, and the very like Hamptons or Cape Cod inspired houses. And you know, like the small stores along the roads, stuff like that. Yeah, I'm just like really looking forward to getting started on some other styles and worlds. And that also reminds me, thank you for the household suggestions from my last video. If there still are any specific family dynamics or household you would like to see in my save file, please do let me know and I'll try my best to incorporate it next. I got some suggestions like a foster family, a poly relationship, more single sims, and I was also thinking I need more like single parent households and more like either a sim taking care of their younger sibling or an aunt or an uncle taking care of their niece and nephew, or a couple just starting out with a baby, because I realize I don't think I have that yet, which is kind of odd. So I'll need to think of that because I did realize I have a lot of couples with kids, but still with like different dynamics and storylines and characters. But yeah, even more diversity would be nice, so I have to think about that next. But yeah, I'm already working on the interior of the house. I forgot to record all of the outdoor furnishing, but you will see how it ends up at the end of the video. I basically just changed out some items, put in a hot tub in this like corner where the fence is, and I decorated the rest of the porches. Also, I changed from dark wood siding to light wood instead. I didn't want it to be too dark because I feel like Dolly gives off more like bright and light colors as a vibe. Anyhow, I really like how the exterior turned out, even if it may look simple, I guess. But I feel like Sims 4, like simple Sims 4 builds are nice in my opinion. It can be a bit overwhelming when there's too many items everywhere, like too much clutter. And this way it's easier to playtest and visually see if something will work or not. And not to mention, the more items you have on a lot, the more laggy it can get. So there are quite a few reasons why I don't necessarily do a lot of clutter or make any custom ideas. It just makes it easier, you know, and though like arguably some of my houses do have more clutter to make it look more lived in and homey, in contrast to, for example, a minimally cluttered modern house. So I wanted the interior of this house to look soft yet kind of colorful at the same time, or more soft with like a splash of color, I guess. And I wanted it to look and feel retro, so I'm using a lot of items from packs such as Get Famous, bowling stuff, and businesses and hobbies. Surprisingly, because there is this one rug, especially from businesses and hobbies, that has like some fun and colorful retro swatches that I loved using in this house, and you will see them eventually as we progress with the interior here. There isn't really an entry area when you go through the front door. You're kind of just met with this open space that overlooks the first floor where the stairs down are located. And sometimes it can be a bit tricky to make this sort of area with roof pieces sticking into the room and all, but there were no issues for this one, luckily, which I'm always happy about. And then on the right hand side, like from the front door, this is where you will find the dining room, the kitchen, and a bathroom. It is quite open, I would say, but I've used columns and spandrels to make an opening into the kitchen. So not really fully an archway, but similar in a sense. And the kitchen isn't the biggest, but it's got the essentials. And anyway, there are just like 2 Sims living here. However, this is supposed to be the house where Jody and her older sister Deborah grew up, so you will find an extra bedroom here. All of them downstairs though. So at one point there used to be like 4 people living here. At the left side of the house there is the living room connected to one of the porches, and I wanted to do something a bit different for the living room this time, so I raised the platform for one side of the room where the couches and like the TV will be. And then again, another smaller portion of that room will also be a much more raised platform where the TV will be. Like there will be a wall-mounted TV just above the kind of oblong platform portion, if that makes sense. I don't remember if I've ever done that before, but I thought it was like different. And I also left a gap on one side and put in this small fireplace, and I have used the one from the Businesses and Hobbies pack, which I love. It's quite modern, but I thought it could be a nice detail to that room. As for the seating area, I have mixed bowling night stuff and Businesses and Hobbies. The rug is also from there, and I quite like the bright blue in that rug. And we've also got a blue accent wall, so I wanted to make these look good together. And very often, actually, I take the color inspiration from rugs or paintings. And I often leave the wallpaper to last. So I decorate the room, then I decide on the color on the wall. Otherwise, I kind of feel too restricted. So I definitely took some inspiration from that rug I used in that area. I've also divided the living room into 2 parts. One using the platform, of course, but I've also used some of these wooden dividers from the Get Famous pack. And I love using those, and Eco Lifestyle also has similar ones. They're really nice to use as dividers or as columns outdoors as well, and especially for a modern home or even a home in this style, like more retro, I guess. So on the other side of those dividers, I have put the cards table that Holly and her friends play at. But yeah, as for the downstairs of the house, we have 3 bedrooms as mentioned previously. The landing area downstairs is quite simple with some bookshelves. Those ones are from Base Game, and I have wished for years for those to be updated to neutral colors because they don't really fit anything like swatch wise, but for once I thought I would give the yellowish light wood a go, and I don't think it looks bad, not at all actually. And first off, we have Dolly's bedroom. I really wanted to include the retro Get Famous bed, and I ended up using it in like an orange swatch. And there are like lots of built-in wardrobes in this house, and I wanted Dolly to have a vanity table as well where she can do her makeup, like just a bit of a classic vanity table, you know. So we got that in here, and why not have an ensuite as well, like a bathroom connected to the main bedroom. And I absolutely love the divider I used in her bedroom. It is the one from Businesses and Hobbies, and it works quite well in modern spaces. a retro space like this, or more of like a tropical space too, because of the texture it has like a rotten texture. So I will definitely need to remember to use that when I build in Solani or Tamarang next. There is also a garage-like space downstairs, obviously not for any functional car, but instead I've used it for the washer and dryer and also for just like storage space. The other bedrooms share a bathroom. And the next bedroom with the blue accent walls is Jodie's bedroom. It's probably a bit more colorful than what she really is, like her outfits and all, because she's got more of a neutral brown toned vibe to her. But here we have like the soft blue wall, and I think maybe they just never painted it again. Like this is the color of the wall she grew up with. And I love the light bulbs around the picture on the wall. I thought that was like a unique idea. And the other bedroom has this pink purple wall, like accented with the stone wall. And this is supposed to be Deborah's old bedroom. Very clean. I don't think it would like be very personalized at all, as probably many things have been moved or sold as she moved out. So for now, it's mostly just a guest bedroom, but with character, I would say. Or if like Jodie eventually ends up having a child, then that could be the kid's bedroom. But yeah, other than that, I'm just finishing up the build here and we'll soon head into the screenshots. So that's basically it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like, comment and subscribe for more content in the future. If you want to be notified of when I upload a video next, make sure to click the bell icon too. This build is playtested and up on my gallery. My ID is honeymaysims, or you can find me with the hashtag honeymaysims as well. You can also grab the tray files in the description. A big shout out to my Patreon supporters and my YouTube members. I appreciate you so much. So thank you all so much for hanging out with me today, and I can't wait to talk to you all in the next video. Until then, take care. Bye! Thank you.